Hello, you wonderful people. So for today's video, I want to do a thoughts and theories about Kate's whole situation in Batwoman. Well, I'm saying it might be a thoughts and theories. It might end up being a Nermo broken down, but that's kind of more so on my side of things. So me talking about this will involve me going into spoilers about Batwoman. So if you are not completely caught up, which at the time of me recording this, episode 3 aired yesterday. So if you're not completely caught up, don't watch this because I want to spoil things for you. So you have been warned. But in this video, I'll just kind of run through my thoughts about some of where we are currently with Kate's situation. Obviously, we made some new discoveries about her circumstances, but also on top of that, I have some thoughts about where things potentially will go in Kate's storyline. So like, first and foremost, obviously we got the information, confirmation that, because what I thought was so interesting was like Safiyah kept lying, being like, oh, it had nothing to do with Kate's disappearance. Someone's just framing me. Now, I didn't know, like, the way she implies later on, like, well, we not implied, she straight up says, hey, I have Kate. So part of me is wondering, did she not actually shoot down Kate, but she actually took Kate because she's like, oh, this would be the perfect bargaining chip? Or was she the one that shot it down? Because it's like, well, then what was the point of lying to Alice? Well, I guess it was like to get Alice off your trail. So it's still unclear. I think she was just straight up lying the entire time that, you know, she was the one behind it, or maybe she was. I'm curious about that now. I'm still rolling back and forth on that in my head. Because she said an interesting line to Alice where she was like, I haven't thought about you and Kate for 5 years, which makes me wonder, like, was that BS? But to be fair, if they haven't really had any interactions on the Alice front, why would she worry about the Kate situation? But then my brain was like, okay, we find out Kate might have been investigating Safiyah because she found a painting or whatever, and Jacob was like, oh, this Jack Napier painting, which I immediately was like, wait, isn't that one of Joker's names? I looked it up, it totally is. So part of me is wondering, like, is there a connection between Safiyah and Joker? Because when I brought it up during my review, episode 3, like, we still don't know what Safiyah's whole deal is. I kept bringing up, like, is she kind of like, you know, a League of Assassins, League of Shadows type of situation? I wasn't clear like what she is all about. Like, obviously she makes it seem like, well, she's got a group of assassins and people backing her. So I'm just curious what her circumstances necessarily are. But something else that kind of popped in my mind is like, remember in this continuity, Bruce killed Joker, so maybe there's some ties there, which makes me immediately think, well, maybe the reason why Kate was investigating because maybe Safiyah has something to do with Bruce going missing, and that's why Kate was sticking her nose. Or maybe it has to deal with maybe like Safiyah has been secretly trying to take over Joker's like we don't know what remnants of like his, you know, the power vacuum of him being gone. Like, we don't know what kind of ripple effect this had on Gotham and the villainy power vacuum, and maybe she's trying to like get something that maybe Joker left behind, because I mean, because we don't even know in this continuity whether or not he had like the Joker gang or not, or whether he was just, you know, the Joker by himself. We don't even really, well, we kind of know that we know in this continuity there was a Harley Quinn because she made a like brief cameo in Arrow like a couple years back. So I mean, you don't know whether they're really fully connecting those particular things or not. That could have just been a fun cameo. Now whether that means something or not, that's another story. But because obviously that's still another big mystery too that's still left unsolved, is where Bruce is. So now we have the, you know, Kate missing too, but I'm wondering, like, are the two things connected? Is that going to be the mystery where it's like she was looking into Bruce's disappearance, and maybe all this, Safiyah, potentially Joker, all of this is connected, considering like Luke was like, yeah, that's kind of why Bruce left, because he killed the Joker. So we'll see on that front. But where things currently stand, my thought about how they're going to handle this Kate situation, I think where the story is going to end up is that, like, they're not going to kill off Kate or anything. What I believe they're going to do is Kate's either going to take this opportunity to be like, hey, Ryan, you're doing a bang-up job. I leave Gotham to you. I need to find Bruce, because maybe Bruce is off investigating something else, or maybe he's caught up in all this, and Kate's like, I have to go off and find Bruce myself. I'm the only one who can do it. I leave Gotham in your hands. Especially, you know, because obviously, like, Bruce means a lot to her, her favorite cousin. Realizing like he was Batman and the one that saved her, so I feel like maybe they could make it so that like Kate feels indebted, like, I have to save Bruce. He saved me. You know, if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be alive. You know, obviously she had a lot of Batman hate for a long time because of everything that happened, you know, with her mom and Beth and everything. So I'm curious on that front. Another side of things, kind of in a similar vein, I'm thinking of, because once again, we have a Batman cast in, well, Batman / Bruce Wayne cast in this continuity. Granted, yes, it was Tommy Elliott, you know, Hush, pretending to be him, but still So part of me wonders, is that how we're going to bring him back into the story potentially? Like the real Bruce shows up because it's like, I heard Kate's in trouble, and this could be the one thing that ends up bringing him out of wherever he's been hiding this entire time, if he's not captured by Safiyah or whatever, that maybe he helps rescue Kate and he decides to take Kate away, like, so they can like do this investigating thing on their terms and leave everything to Ryan. Like it's two sides to the potential, like the same theory, but I think that's how they could potentially write Kate out of the story. At least she's still out there in the universe doing her thing, in this continuity doing her thing on some other front, but we just won't see her. Because it still opens the window, just I think, in case Ruby Rose ever decided she wanted to reprise her role, it could be like a special, like, you know, it's like, oh, the city has two Batwoman women to protect it. Like that could be, you know, something they potentially set up in the future. Like I said, this is just something that was randomly running through my mind. It's been running through my mind for like the past 2 weeks, and potentially how they could handle this whole Kate thing, you know, especially, you know, with, you know, where they, you know, without, you know, killing her off, like keeping her in the continuity and just keeping her story technically evolving just in the background. We just don't sadly get to see it, you know, that type of circumstance. So I don't know, like I said, this is like early stuff running through my mind. Like I said, we're still piecing together the puzzle that is this whole Safiyah Kate situation of, like, you know, these are, like I said, these are just kind of my thoughts about it. I'd love to get to know yours in the comments down below. Do you agree with anything I've brought up this episode? Do you think what I brought up about the Safiyah connection to the old Jack Napier situation? Do you agree with where I think Kate's story is going to take her? Let me know, you know, like I said, whether you agree, disagree, what are your own thoughts about it? I'd love to get to know. But really, that's all I want to talk about. Till the next time we meet, be happy, be safe, live life to the fullest, and enjoy it. Good day and goodbye.